Welcome back, movie lovers. I'm Josh.
And I'm Chris.
And with our powers combined, we are Garner Brothers Movie Lovers. Today, we're talking Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Perhaps the most appropriately titled movie ever made. This is a movie about Doctor Strange, with Sam Raimi directing it and being given complete creative control. So, there's your intro.
With all that implies.
Yeah.
The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch, of course. Rachel McAdams is back for a bit of a role. Kind of a reduced role. Benedict Wong is back. And Elizabeth Olsen. The movie introduces Xochitl Gomez to the MCU. She plays America Chavez. There are a number of other characters in the film as well. Chiwetel Ejiofor comes back again for a bit. And like you said, it's directed by Sam Raimi. That is inescapable in this movie.
Sam Raimi is the biggest star of this movie. So we'll start with non-spoilers like we usually do.
Okay, yeah. I'm not telling you anything you're not going to find out in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Or
Elizabeth Olsen
that's implied in the trailers.
Right.
So I guess with that in mind, our non-spoiler section has spoils for what you might see in the trailers. So
that's fair.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
So I guess first thing I would say is this movie is overwhelming. So much happens in this movie. You are drinking from the fire hose the whole movie long. By the time the movie was over, people were talking about stuff that I didn't even remember having happened. It was like, that happened in this movie? The one we just watched? So, just be ready for that. It's going to be madness.
The soundtrack is that way too. I forgot to mention it's by Danny Elfman, but it is an onslaught. It is
from the
madness.
Beginning.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of downtime in this movie. It is dialed up to 11 almost the whole movie, which is...
That's true. It's exhausting.
Every time something normal is happening, just take some deep breaths and enjoy the moment, because it's not going to last very long. If you like Sam Raimi style content, Evil Dead kind of stuff, you're going to like this a lot. And if you don't, you're not going to like this very much. If you're going into this thinking, Sam Raimi directed the Spider-Man movies, this will be like the Spider-Man movies, you're wrong.
It's like the scene in Spider-Man where Dr. Octopus finds out he's fused to his arms.
Yes, just take all the scenes...
for a whole movie.
Like, take the scenes where Green Goblin is talking to his reflections, and he's becoming the Goblin, and Dr. Octopus is killing everyone with his arms. You know, all those moments from those movies. Splice them together, and you have this.
And you have this, yeah. It
the
really
same
is
feel, anyway.
This way. There's been talk that this is the first horror film in the MCU. I don't think it's a horror film. It's not horror movie territory most of the time.
There's glimpses of it, but
yeah.
This isn't a horror movie.
No, but it's a lot scarier. Like, I'm thinking of little kids. My kids have seen most of the MCU. I think this movie would scare them. I don't want to show them this movie. I will not show this
to my kids.
Yeah.
To my kids. They're going to have to be quite a bit older.
There's some nightmare material in this movie.
Oh my gosh. I was a little surprised that it was PG-13 with some of the deaths that we saw.
There are some gruesome deaths. But yeah, I guess everything good about this movie and everything bad about this movie boils down to it's Sam Raimi doing Sam Raimi. And I guess I was really looking forward to seeing what he would do in the MCU.
Yeah, me too.
And I think I was hoping for something a little different than what we got, because this was too much. Too much Raimi. For me.
Yeah, me too.
The demons are all talking like this, and...
yeah. And the good guys are saying cool one-liners.
Come get some.
And that's what the movie's like.
Yeah, I will say, this movie has what I think is the dumbest fight in the entire MCU. Like, just watching it, I was like, oh no, this is just awful.
It was really hard to watch. And
it's the music fight. I won't say more than that. I don't want to spoil you on it, but there is a music fight in this movie. And it is just so bad.
It never works well when they do that. Do you remember in Star Trek 3 when they destroyed all the bad guys with rock and roll?
No.
That's a good choice.
That's how they won. That's the final battle of the movie.
Wait. Which Star Trek 3 are we talking about?
Star Trek 3 with Chris Pine.
Okay. No, I did not remember that.
It's never good. When you kill the bad guys with music, it's always dumb. Every time. I keep going to Marvel movies now, thinking maybe this will be the one that feels like an Avengers movie. I think we're done with that. I think it's intentional too. I think they're trying to intentionally do different things than what the Avengers movies were. I think that I need to stop having the expectation that I'm going to have that. It kind of reminds me of when a TV series has gotten far enough along and has enough popularity that they're like, what if we do this really weird, obscure idea where we have 2 episodes that are a pillow fort battle or something? Or like in Seinfeld, they do the Bizarro World episode. Or they do an episode that takes place entirely inside of the waiting room of a Chinese restaurant. And that's how a lot of this feels now. I kind of feel like what was meant for me in the MCU is done. And after seeing this movie, I'm not excited for Thor: Love and Thunder anymore. Maybe there's other people who they're targeting.
Yeah. Phase 4 of the MCU has been a huge letdown. With the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's true. Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi for me are the most...
Yeah. Shang-Chi was my next favorite from this phase, but like all the TV series that they've done on Disney Plus and all the movies that they've done, I thought, Black Widow's movie was okay. Yeah, I just don't feel like we've done anything in phase 4. Like, we've had these movies, but that was one of my complaints about Spider-Man. I felt like it wasn't going to have any effects on the rest of the MCU.
That was something I was going to make sure we brought up.
And we thought, well, maybe, because multiverse stuff was happening in that movie, maybe it's going to spill into this movie. Does it? No. This movie, like, they mentioned that movie, but nothing that happened in that movie is responsible for what happens in this movie. And this is also the first movie you kind of have to watch a TV series to understand. If you haven't seen WandaVision, this movie will not make sense.
I've been kind of waiting for the moment where everything comes together, because it seems like at the end of every movie or TV series, they're often doing things like saying, Shang-Chi, come with us, because you're going to be in this other movie. It's going to be great. At the end of Loki, they're like, holy cow, look, here's the new big bad.
But we haven't seen Shang-Chi again, and we haven't seen that big bad, and we haven't seen Vision the White from the end of WandaVision, and we haven't seen... Yeah, it's not coming together, not yet.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just not anywhere. Like I said, it kind of feels like they're getting wacky ideas, and they're just trying them out. I guess we'll rate the movie now.
Good. Fine. Bad.
Yeah, that was a load of poop.
Man, what am I going to rate this movie?
Good, fine, bad.
Fine, I guess.
That's where I'm at. I'm at fine, kind of leaning towards
it's bad. Yeah, that's what I was trying to decide. Do I call it bad or do I call it fine? Because it really was too much.
Yeah, it was. It hurts me to say that. I want to love the MCU like I did, I want it to be that, but I feel like I'm breaking up with the MCU. You're tearing me apart!
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it did.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's not a mutual breakup, okay? But there will probably be some people who really like it out there. So like this video too if you wanna. And we're gonna talk spoilers now, which there are abundance of.
Yeah.
So go ahead and leave if you don't want to hear about the spoilers. And if you do, then here we go.
Yeah, so Elizabeth Olsen is the bad guy. She's an effective villain. She's
Good
a
villain.
very powerful
Really good
villain,
villain.
and she's scary. And it's a run for your life kind of scenario through most of the movie, and it's her that they're running from. And when Scarlet Witch, uses all of her power for evil, it's a frightening thing. One other thing that I like about this movie is that actions have consequences in this movie. I did think that. After watching WandaVision, I thought, I really wondered what they were going to do with Wanda Maximoff after that TV series. I kind of hoped they were going to turn her into a bad guy.
So did I, and I didn't think they'd have the balls to do it.
But they did.
They did. They
They
really
did. She goes
full bad guy in
Yes,
this movie.
yes, full bad guy. She murders people, lots of people in this movie. So that they did that. And wow, kudos to them for doing that. Now I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
You were talking about how actions have consequences.
Yeah, that's it. So I wanted WandaVision to have consequences. And it does. I wanted her character to have been seriously affected by the events of that TV series, and she was. So that's good. And there was a moment in this movie when I thought, oh, there are no consequences for Doctor Strange breaking rules. But at the end of the movie, you see that there is. And we'll have to see what happens in future movies to see whether, what exactly all of that means. But I did like that you couldn't just do stuff and it wouldn't matter. In this movie, it seemed like everything that had happened previously did matter. And so I appreciate that.
Best part of the whole movie was Professor X in his big, stupid yellow wheelchair.
And the
musical
theme from the X-Men animated series.
Just the oldest
so
Patrick
great.
Stewart you've ever seen in the biggest dumb yellow chair from the animated series, and you just hear... That's the best part of the movie. It's so...
Yeah, it really was.
That moment, I'm talking about things that weren't for me, that was for me. And I ate it up, and I loved it.
We had some serious cameos in that scene.
John Krasinski is finally Reed Richards, and that was fine.
Yeah, it was. That was the big surprise. I mean, it's been rumored for a while that he was going to play Reed Richards and his wife's going to play Sue Storm. And I don't know if that's true.
Wanted that. Yeah, who knows if they'll even come back to this guy.
Because that happens in another universe. So it was fun to see him. Captain Carter was in it.
She was fine.
One thing that I appreciated about that whole cameo situation, so they are this group of Illuminati, right? And then they all die like that. And I thought that was kind of, it kind of took the whole, fan service thing and kind of turned it on its head.
It was here's the characters
here's
you
what
wanted.
You've been wanting. Now
Do you like it? Do you like it now?
Let's kill them all in a brutal, brutal way.
They're like, look, we can handle the witch.
Few moments later.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
That was just so pointless. But it did provide the one moment that was my favorite part of the movie.
It was that music that sold it.
Yeah.
The music and the yellow chair. That was it.
That stupid yellow chair. But I love it. I keep saying it's stupid because it's stupid, but I love I love that stupid yellow chair. Wow. So there's a post-credit scene where he goes to the dark dimension. So that means something. Charlize Theron is now part of the...
Yeah, Charlize Theron.
So
yeah,
that's cool, I guess. She's just... I think what Charlize Theron's legacy is that she wants to make enough movies where she can have a new haircut in every movie so that she can tell everyone individually in the whole world, I look better with this haircut than you. In this movie, she's just going to upset a lot of blonde, straight-haired girls, which is a lot. Because she probably looks better than you. The more I'm talking about
it just goes off the rails.
The worse I am feeling about this movie.
Yeah,
it's getting worse on my scale. It's getting closer to bad, so we should probably stop.
So you don't think it's bad? So
Before
that you won't think it's bad?
the bad bomb goes off.
Well, that's kind of how I felt about the movie. I just felt like it got worse and worse and worse, and I feel like that music fight was the nail in the coffin. Like
Pinnacle
that was
dumbness.
As soon as that happened, I was like, okay, this is the moment where I decided I didn't like this movie. Like I was willing to give it a pass up until this point, but this is it. And then after that, things didn't get much better.
I actually really liked when he took over the corpse body. You have to have somebody to dreamwalk in your universe. Who said they have to be alive? And then it cuts to this like graveyard scene with lightning and dark night clouds and dead trees, and there's like this zombie crawling out of the hole, and I was like, yes. This is awesome. And then at the end he's like, oh no, the evil spirits are eating me, and just believe in yourself, Doctor Strange. Oh yeah, believe in myself. And he's like, now the spirits are my cape. And then he flies to the rescue. And then
he tells America Chavez.
Yeah, America Chavez is like,
believe in yourself.
I can't control my powers. I've never been able to control my powers. Just believe in yourself. Oh yeah, that's all I have to do.
And
she
then
did.
It works. Here's another thing. Where the heck is Vision? Like,
that's another one of the things that just happened at the end of one of the series or movies that was like, this is going to be a thing.
Is it?
But
if it was going to be a thing, it seems like it should have been a thing. And it seems for all the world like they're done with Wanda Maximoff. Well, you'd think if they were going to bring him back, this would have been the time to do it.
Yeah, you'd also think that since Shang-Chi went with Wong, that he might be with Wong. Yeah. But he's not.
The most surprising thing about this movie to me, I mean, when Scarlet Witch went full-on bad guy, I just thought, there's no redeeming her character after this. Like, the things that she is doing, like, I mean, wow. And then at the end, it seems that she buries herself in the temple to her, or whatever that was. She's powerful enough that I suppose she could have survived that, and she could come back in the future, but...
She could also be God.
At the end of this, it looks like maybe Elizabeth Olsen is done with the MCU. Like, maybe this was her way out. You know...
It kind of feels that way.
It does feel that way. Paul Bettany's Vision is never going to see her again. Like, he's going to get all his memories back and then fly away, and by the time he finally collects himself enough to come back, she's gone.
Also, why was there Ultron bots in this other universe?
Yeah, that was never explained.
There was no Ultron or an Iron Man to, like, have created Ultron bots. It was just...
I don't know. I feel like it's that thing you were talking about the other day with Star Wars. It's Ultron bots. Are you liking it? Do you like it?
You want a John Krasinski? Here he is. Do you like it? It's Marvel. It's happening. Here's Professor X. Do you like the theme song from X-Men? It's happening.
Yes, I do.
And I was like, ooh, yes, I like it.
Okay. Yeah.
Whoa.
This movie was disappointing.
Yeah. So I guess you could go see this movie if you want. This is one that people are going to go see anyway.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to go see it, but I think this is one where I'm surprised that it's got, I mean, last time I checked, it had like a 79 or 80 on the tomato meter.
That's higher than I'd put it.
Yeah. I think critics are inexplicably kind to MCU films. Like, they frequently will give movies that I think are kind
Which
of
is
bad
so
MCU movies
funny
pretty
because
high rating.
it's like within the world of Hollywood, MCU movies are just disrespected left and right. But
They are.
critics are like, these are pretty good.
Well, critics frequently complain about blockbusters and the state of Hollywood today, and yet they keep giving the MCU a pass.
That's weird. I've never even noticed that, but you're right.
Right?
Yeah, so this is a movie that happened. It is in the MCU, and you can go see it in theaters if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Stream it on Disney Plus if you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of feels like we all have to. You know what? This is after the breakup.
do have to if you
This
want
is
to know
after
what's
the
going on.
breakup, but you still have to go to these parties that you're going to be at with the other person. That's what's happening now. That's what the MCU is from now on.
On the flip side, I really liked Moon Knight. Maybe we should review that
Moon Knight
series.
was good. Moon Knight felt intentionally different, but it
good.
worked. It
But
worked
good.
so
Yeah,
well.
they're both. I feel like both Moon Knight and this movie tried to be kind of head trips, and I feel like Moon Knight really pulled it off. And I feel like this
Probably
movie did not.
Mostly because of Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that next. You can like the video if you wanna. You can share the video if you wanna. You can subscribe to the channel if you wanna. And you can click the bell if you wanna.
And you can certainly tell us all of the reasons you loved or hated this movie in the comments.
Yes, we give you permission to have a different opinion than us.
Even if
You
it's
may
wrong.
have it. If that's what you were waiting for, us to give you permission to have a different opinion, it's been granted.
I think people on YouTube are famously hesitant to share their opinion in the comments for fear of offending the person who posted the video.
Yes, if you would like, you have permission to leave a 16-paragraph long message in the comment section explaining why we are wrong about
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
You have my permission. And in case we don't see ya,
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So I forgot to mention Elizabeth Olsen is in this movie. She's a major part of this movie. I definitely should have mentioned
Wait a second,
her.
just stop for a minute and just say, and Elizabeth Olsen.
And Elizabeth Olsen.
Boom, we fixed it.
Edited it.
Now you didn't forget to say it.
Awesome.